What's up, guys? Welcome back to Natalie's Reptile World. Today, this is your host, Natalie, co-host Kevin, and a special guest is our Crested Gecko.
Crested Gecko. What's up, guys? Today, Natalie and I are talking about what is possibly our second cutest reptile that we have.
Yeah.
The first is yet to come.
My baby Crested Gecko Hopper.
Hopper, the Crested Gecko. Crested Gecko, more like cutest gecko. Ha.
Oh.
So, as always, today Natalie and I are going to talk about some basic and cool facts about the Crested Gecko, the enclosure, and diet. How's that sound?
Good.
Let's do it. Crested geckos are an incredibly popular pet in the reptile hobby, and for a lot of good reasons too. And I would say right there on the same level as like leopard geckos and ball pythons. All the reptile expos we've been to, they always have crested geckos, don't they?
Yeah.
And you picked this little guy out all on your own, didn't you?
Yeah.
She picked them out and we fell in love with them. Crested geckos were actually thought to be extinct until 1994. And then once rediscovered, they have blown up ever since. But it's kind of scary how close a hugely popular pet like this could have ended up on our extinct reptile series.
Yeah.
I'm glad he's not. I love these little guys.
Yeah, and guys, they're very, very cute.
Very, very cute, and he's a very, very good boy. But they were actually found and rediscovered from their environment or their home in New Caledonia, where crested geckos come from. And one of the best things about crested geckos today is ever since blowing up like that and becoming such a popular pet,
Yeah.
that majority on the market today are going to be captive bred.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
And look at his face.
What is that giant human doing? Being captive bred has like really boosted their numbers, which that's good.
Yeah.
But crested geckos actually have a lifespan of about 15 to 20 years. So if you do intend on getting a crested gecko, just be prepared that, like a lot of other reptiles, it's a long-term pet. 15 to 20 years is longer than most like dogs and cats. And you're gonna have to take them to college with you.
Who?
All of your reptiles.
Why?
You want Daddy to watch all of them? I'll hold on to them here. And then when you come home and come visit Daddy, you can see all of your family. How's that?
Actually, no, I'm not bring them.
You're gonna take them with you? I'm sure that there's colleges that let snakes and lizards. There's gotta be some. Even geckos. Another cool fact about them is they are a nocturnal species. And what's that other really cool thing that you wanted to tell everybody about?
They're sticky geckos.
Sticky geckos.
And they have a bunch of like little hairs on their feet.
You're exactly right. And they're arboreal, which means they can stick to plants, branches, and even glass.
Yeah.
Stick right to the glass.
And guys, they can. And they can stick to floors.
Yes.
And they can go to other holes like that, anything.
That's a really cool superpower I'd like.
Yeah.
Be able to climb up walls.
Yeah, and then I could.
Sweet. But if you guys watch our golden gecko care video, what Natalie just talked about right there, the hairs and how they are able to do this, we go over that pretty in depth. So if you'd like to watch that, you can watch it right here.
No, they can't.
They can. It's right there.
No, they can't. Guys, can you see it?
All right, and then let's get into appearance.
And
What's some cool things about this guy's appearance?
And guys, they are sticky geckos, like I said, and they have a million little hairs onto their feet. Well, they have crests.
No, crests. Yep.
Yes.
That's the biggest one, and that's where they get their name, crested geckos, where they have those crests that go along from all the way from the tail all the way up to the eyebrows. He's got some beautiful eyelashes, don't he?
Yeah, he's like, hello, I have beautiful eyelashes.
It is also very common that crested geckos drop their tails, and it can be for no apparent reason either. And that tail, unlike a lot of other geckos, will not grow back for a crested gecko.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people that think they did something wrong or they hurt their gecko when they dropped their tail. But I mean, they'll drop it for no given reason whatsoever.
Yeah, and guys, they don't grow their tail back.
Exactly. Hopper here actually lost his tail. His tail was already gone when we bought him. Now, it definitely wasn't my idea to buy a crested gecko with an already missing tail at full cost, but Natalie seen him and absolutely fell in love with him for being different, which that was very, very sweet of you.
Tail would not grow back till I got him.
Him and his little frog butt, right?
Yeah.
Crested geckos are actually generally very small lizards. Full grown, they're only going to get to about 4 to 8 inches, but that's not big whatsoever.
Yeah.
And as you can see from Hopper here, babies are incredibly tiny.
Yes.
Because he's a wee little thing.
Yeah, and look, he's like that tiny.
I know.
That tiny.
I think that makes him cuter. Crested geckos also have no eyelids. They can't blink like me and you can blink. So
They just lick their eyeball.
Exactly. And it looks like they're patting their eyes with their tongue, but this is essentially them blinking and keeping their eyeballs moist.
Yeah, and that's how to keep them moist, their eyeballs moist, and really good, and feeling like nothing happened to their eyeball.
Like blinking.
Yeah.
Natalie and I also, much like the bearded dragon and leopard geckos, were very surprised to see how many morphs of crested geckos there are. There's a lot of different kinds, different colors, patterns, and everything like that. We tried to get a picture for this video for you guys to see, but all you have to do is Google it, is the super Dalmatian morph. They have the same colors as a Dalmatian dog. They are absolutely awesome.
Yeah, and guys, do you want me to tell you a cool fact about them?
Sure.
So their whole body is white, some of them, and then they got black polka dots all over them.
Yeah, just like a Dalmatian dog.
Yes.
Beautiful gecko. And then let's talk about just how handleable crested geckos are. One of the things that make crested geckos so wildly popular is how docile they are, and usually laid back, which that's a plus. But especially as babies, they can be very skittish. And that, combined with how tiny he is, can make handling him a bit difficult, right? Also with babies, as we just mentioned, they are very small and fragile. So it's kind of hard holding them without feeling like you're going to accidentally crush them. What do you think?
I think I'm gonna crush him.
But you just gotta be really soft and easy with them, right?
Yeah, you can't be like...
Yeah, don't death grab them.
Yeah.
Crested geckos also have a big reputation for being big jumpers. They will just leap straight out of your hands. So that also makes handling them a bit difficult when they're trying to just leap out of your hands. But you basically have to become familiar with them, and you'll start to notice like little mannerisms that they do before they jump.
Yeah.
But until we're comfortable with like interacting with them and knowing those mannerisms, it's hard to be able to hold them when they could just leap out of your hand, and as fragile as they are, if they hit the ground, that's gonna hurt them.
Yeah, and what if they be like...
Yeah, don't want them doing that. And we're gonna try and get this video done. We're about to get a really bad lightning storm, so we're gonna try and get this video done before the power goes out. Our personal opinion is that although crested geckos make a awesome pet reptile, it's not one we would suggest for specifically a child. And if you do let your child interact with the crested gecko, we would highly suggest supervision. Although you're super responsible, Daddy always watches you with them, right?
Yes, I will get one.
All right, on to enclosure. So let's start with the enclosure itself. As we mentioned, they are an arboreal species. So adult crested gecko should be in at least a 20-gallon vertical enclosure, at least 2 feet tall.
You hear that?
I hear the thunder. But at least 2 feet tall.
Yeah, at least.
At least. but give them the room to climb up and do all their arboreal stuff, right? This means they will need vertical decor, vertical plants, branches, stuff that they can climb on, vertical hides that sit above ground level within those branches, but the plants especially something that will collect water droplets on them.
Yeah.
You should still include a water bowl to help out with humidity, but they're gonna mainly drink water droplets that collect on the decor, the glass, and everything like that. That's a lot of our lizards that just drink droplets, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's funny watching them drink, isn't it?
Yeah, and I
heard that.
And
that's our leopard gecko, our frill dragon, a couple of them. They will also need a arboreal food dish. These usually come in like a suction cup. Well, a suction cup you can put right to the glass or in magnets.
Yeah.
But that's to hold their food dish up off the ground. Like we said about the water bowl, crested geckos do need a pretty high humidity level, between like 60 and 80%. So as far as a substrate, you're gonna wanna use something that holds in moisture, because that builds up the humidity.
And guys, let me tell you something crazy that happened last night.
What?
So we were outside, Wiley and Bella was outside out there, and we told them to get in here because a whole storm, a loud one, it sounded like it was right in front of us.
Our neighbor's house actually got struck by lightning.
Yes, and a whole tree fell down on the house.
That was scary.
Yeah.
But on that subject, you're gonna wanna spray their enclosure down twice a day to help out with humidity and to also keep them hydrated. But we talked about this the other day. A common health issue associated with humidity is respiratory infections. And it's not the humidity itself, it's the pathogens and bacteria that build up in the humidity. So it's a big necessity that you keep that substrate clean. One of the good things about crested geckos is that they're a relatively low maintenance pet reptile, but you cannot cut corners on things like cleaning the enclosure, the water bowl, substrate, food dish. You gotta keep all that clean,
Yeah.
or they're gonna get respiratory infections.
Yeah.
That's not good.
Yeah. Not good.
Poor little lizard.
You're a boy because older.
Then on to heating and lighting. They are an arboreal species, so we would recommend over the top heating, like heat lamps. Reason being is they're not going to spend much time on the ground, so if you put a heat map like on the ground, they're not going to collect much of that. But when we get into the temperatures, you're not going to need that much heating anyway.
Yeah, and that heating, lighting is what that was big.
I heard that. But also to that, if you've seen our golden gecko video, that heat lamp needs to be on a stand above the enclosure. You cannot just set it on top of like the mesh screen on top of the enclosure. You can't just set that heat lamp there because they will crawl up the enclosure and they'll crawl directly under that heat lamp and it can burn them.
Yeah.
So you want to put that heat lamp on a stand that gives you space between the top of the enclosure and the heat lamp.
Yeah, and guys.
Lights just flickered. We're hurrying, guys.
Yeah.
But as we just said, crested geckos are actually going to need much lower temperatures than a lot of reptiles.
Yeah.
The hot side should only be about 80 degrees, with the cool side being, or a cool section being 72 degrees. And the nighttime temperatures being between 65 and 75 degrees. Anything over 85 degrees can actually give your crested gecko a heat stroke. Definitely don't want that.
Yeah.
So when you're buying the actual heating bulb, we'd recommend not one of those like high percentage basking lamps. Usually like the daytime lamp. Uh-oh.
Guys.
All right, Stan, we gotta really hurry now.
Yeah. I like this one. I'll put it already.
All right, guys, so if you've just seen that, we're gonna keep moving. As I'm sure you guys have heard before, no red bulbs.
Yeah.
And then UVB, like leopard geckos, the golden gecko, most people will tell you that they don't need UVB lighting. However, it can be beneficial. I don't know about you, but I like the sun. Whoa, that was loud. And our last point to enclosure is keeping more than one of them in the enclosure.
Yeah.
Natalie and I don't have any experience cohabbing crested geckos, so we'd highly recommend you guys watch some other channels on that and research it.
And guys, comment down below if you know if the thunderstorm is gonna knock a tree down.
And finally on to
Diet.
Crested geckos are omnivores, or frugivarious, where in the wild they mainly eat lots of fruits with some insects, just like the golden gecko.
Yeah.
Wow.
And guys, we gotta go really fast because this thunderstorm
It's gonna be bad. Their diet is made very simply nowadays with brands like Pangea, Rapashi, where it's like an all-in-one powder diet.
maybe Wapashio.
Rapashi, that's like the powder diet for him, which basically just mix it with water and it's ready to go. But I even let you make his food.
Yeah.
All you gotta do is stir.
Yeah.
Being nocturnal, and we should have mentioned this in our golden gecko video, but you should always feed them like right before bed. Some of that powdered diet can get pretty expensive, and if you put it out during the day or in the morning while they're sleeping, it's just gonna dry out. They're not gonna touch it. So it should always be before you go to bed.
Dad, do you hear that?
And then you gotta buy even more of that expensive food. So,
Like-
right before bed. With these powdered diets, insects aren't required, but can and should be offered to your crested gecko from time to time. Only downside to that is he doesn't wag his tail when trying to catch him like your leopard gecko,
Yeah.
because
He doesn't be like,
you know he's missing a tail.
yeah. And I think he's about to poop.
And when you do feed insects, those insects should be dusted with like a calcium powder. Keep them healthy. Yeah. All right, guys, I think we finished just in time because this storm's getting pretty bad. And that does it for our Crested Gecko video.
Yeah.
If you guys enjoyed this or found it informative, make sure to leave us a like and consider subscribing for more of our storm videos and care videos.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Not storm videos.
All right, guys, we'll see you on Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Bye, guys.
Bye.